Good evening, everybody, or good morning in the next day if you're watching your Friday morning archives, or if you're watching live right now tonight here. Either way, however you're watching, whenever you're watching, even why you're watching, whatever the reason, I thank you for coming here to this video. Giving my channel a chance to give this video a shot. And tonight's episode, Riverdale, it's what's the title of this video. This talking about the great show Riverdale on CW. I know I do a lot of other things. I do breaking news. I do sports talk, my podcast, Steve's Wrestling Ramble, talking WWE, my NFL show, and all that other stuff. Welcome to check out all the playlists. Cheap plug for all of them. But Riverdale, let's get on that as soon as possible here. Episode number 7. And I should have had my notes up earlier, so I apologize for the silence here. Episode 7, Chapter 7, as a title, entitled Chapter 7, In a Lonely Place. Well, certainly the episode wasn't lonely or boring or not interesting because it was certainly jam-packed from start to finish. See, Riverdale, and Andre, who has a YouTube channel, Andre the Black Nerd, at Black Nerd on Twitter. Well, follow him. I'm sure you already know about his YouTube channel, that awesomeness. He does reviews on Riverdale. He kind of says the same thing each and every time. Like, Riverdale is a show that captivates you from the start of each and every episode, has you from the start, from jump on episode 1, at least for me it did. It still does, obviously. And it's a show like Scream, another show I review, and Scream Queens, that you have to watch every episode, or not just every episode, but of each episode, every moment of said episode. If that in itself makes sense. Hopefully it does. But you know what I mean? Like every episode, every little moment, finding each and every clue, from little clue to big clue. However, being on the ball, so to speak, in that way. Hello, Capacity Leaf 332. Thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you to all those that will be say hello in the chat and talk about Riverdale as I keep chugging along here. So, and each episode, you gotta watch each moment because there might be something, whether it's visually, it's only in the background, something in that way that will captivate you. Again, I apologize also if there's issues with this Hangout. Sometimes the Hangout it goes perfectly and smooth. Sometimes it's choppy and not. I said I hope to grow the channel, get 1K subscribers, super chat, and be able to get a regular camera and do most of these videos then through creating them. But it is what it is as of right now. But anyway, let's get to the episode again. Episode 7, Chapter 7, In a Lonely Place. You know what that actually makes me remind me of? And maybe it was the intention. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. It makes me think of a song. Then again, it's a Positive Beat song. We Found Love in a Lonely Place. Lonely Place, in a Lonely Place. I know, I'm sure there's no correlation to the episode of the show, but just randomly, that's what I was thinking of. I remember that is because I love the TV show Glee. And I remember them doing that song for when there was a marriage proposal on the show of the two characters, if I remember correctly, because there was a pool scene, they were just singing there. Anyways, that's what it made me think of. But back into the episode starts with Archie finding out, learning about Jughead's situation, about that he was living in the theater, and that's why he was even more upset that was going to be taken down and a new building to be there. And Archie finds him in this new location. Excuse me, I don't remember where exactly was. I don't think they said. But this new location where Jughead's now living. And Archie, Archie, if he finds out his situation, what Jughead's situation, what's going on, why he was upset with what happened in the episode about Jellybean, Jughead's sister and mother. So pretty much the rest of this family, the Jones family, Jellybean and Jughead's mom are with her parents, Jughead's grandparents, living there because of his father and his situation and everything, alcoholism, to say the least. That she went with Jellybean and went to a safer place. It's really not a lonely place in that way. So that's going on in Jughead's life. And I find out, again, with the name of the family name is Jones, the Jones family. I'm sure those that have read the Archie comics, like Andre, his YouTube channel, and others that were probably excited for Riverdale because it being of the Archie comics and they already knowing that and know about the story. But Riverdale, at least from what I've been reading since I've been starting to watch the show, saying it's going to be a little bit different from that. For me, I never read any of the Archie comics. I've heard of them, heard good things about them, but I literally never watched it. So me, in my fresh take, am I just watching what's on screen, what's right in front of my eyes each and every week and each and every episode, and not knowing the relationships, the triangle, the this, the that, or each character and how I guess maybe they were done in the comics, and just seeing them how they're represented here in the show being different, I think gives me, I would say, a different vantage point and gives me a fresh vantage point where I'm not maybe, if I did read any of the Archie comics, that I'd be judging it based off that. Just like heading into watching Beauty and the Beast this upcoming weekend and judging it against the person of my childhood and maybe judging it too harshly because of that. I worry or wonder, and I'm not accusing people of doing this. I'm just general that maybe some people that did read the Archie comics and know of the Archie comics might be putting a little too much pressure on Riverdale while doing their reviews about it or talk about it in their blogs or Twitter or on their YouTube channels or however they talk about it, or just with friends and family. That works too. That they're judging it too harshly because they know of the story in great detail, in grave detail, especially super fans, grave detail of how the characters were in. Now, technically, I can look things up and find out how they were, and then I can be immersed in knowing of that lineage. But part of me doesn't want to do that. Not because I'm lazy or anything. Trust me, I do hard work like I did tonight with watching the show and doing notes, just like any other person that reviews a TV show should do and does here on YouTube and otherwise. But I don't want to because I don't want to warp my mind in that way. As in, I don't want to be in that situation where I might be episode or a character and how their storyline is different to what it was in an Archie comic or in the Archie comic series overall, because I would know how said character was in the Archie comics, in the Archie series overall. See what I'm getting at? So, just in my personal humble opinion, it's just I want to do things be in the dark in that way, as it pertains to the comics, and watching each and every episode, starting with episode 1 here in season 1. So good news for Riverdale here in the middle of my review. They got the green light for season numero dos, season 2. For season 2 in CW, so that is awesome. So it's awesome to hear. I heard about it actually on another YouTube channel, Smurf Vlogs. The movies, Smurf movies, but Smurf Vlog YouTube channel, another great channel. Check out Smurf Vlogs here on YouTube. Just search Smurf Vlogs and also search Andre here on YouTube and find out if you don't already know who either of those channels are, either of those smart individuals are. Check out their channel, subscribe, like their videos as well. After subscribing and liking here. First things first, right? But moving on into the review of the episode. But again, like I said, that's how the episode starts off. Starting off hot to do. And again, with a TV show like this, with a show of this kind of genre of being our way, and finding out, who did it, who could be a suspect, and this and that. You have to watch every scene, watch the backgrounds, people's mannerism, not just what they say, sort of stuff like this. Really try to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And you guys already know, guys and gals, men and women already know that me and my love of puzzles actual jigsaw puzzles and murder mystery books and movies and TV show puzzles, and putting them together and finding out who and this to the next scenes with the Blossoms finding out about the hiring and thinking that Polly killed Jason, jumping to that assumption. How do you jump to that assumption? Because you already had an assumption of Polly. So you use that, you might as well. Seems like it's having some difficulties. Anyway, so you go with that, and you have predispositions of thinking of what you thought of that person, and you jump to a conclusion, which just happens. I'm not saying it's whatever, but and then is talking in the comments area, and there's a Nosy Nancy behind. I don't know who her actual name is, but we'll just call her Nosy Nancy. There in the background, listening in, and she's the one who tells the Blossoms. Like that scene happens first, then the Blossoms find out and spit it on Polly, and then we have this epic meeting of the minds, or meeting of the team, so to speak, in the woods when they're searching for Polly. The Blossoms with the sheriff, right? Jughead, Betty, and others, Archie and others, and so forth, that are looking for Polly for a different reason. Different reasons why each team is out there looking for Polly. And Betty, after talking with Jughead on their walk back, after a couple of things that she knows where Polly went because of remembering a situation when they were kids, of when she ran away from home and where she found him. It's like a light bulb went off, an epiphany, for Betty, which also I learned Betty is short for Elizabeth. That made me feel dumb because I never knew that. I only thought Liz was short for Elizabeth. But anyways, so she finds Polly, and when Blossom talks with her mother, or no, when not Blossom, when Polly's talking with her parents. See, that's why I write better notes. When Polly's talking with her parents during their dinner, of would Polly be able to live back here if we find her? Kind of, reading the room, if she should tell them that she's just right up there, she's in the attic, or not. So she asked for that, and then first she asked where the baby would probably be accepted back, and then her mother says that, well, she'd probably would be giving up the baby for adoption. And Betty has that look like, really? You want me to believe that my sister Polly wants that? Like, no, I don't. I call BS. That's again, nonverbal. Even above what she said, that's what I got the feeling of her. Just that look for a couple of seconds there in that frame. If you paused it there, of what her eyes were telling you, even more so than what her mouth literally told her, because she's trying to stay calm. She's trying to not crack herself again because she knows where Polly is. She does the same thing when she's talking to Cheryl Blossom, right? Because Cheryl Blossom is going to come in after finding out about Polly having a kid, being pregnant with Jason Blossom's child. And again after that, and then she's saying, okay, now we're on the same team because you're in is, and she kind of sees that she's lying. But again, Betty, Elizabeth, doesn't want to give the whereabouts yet because she doesn't trust her, which is understandable. Cheryl, pardon my language, but the first 2 episodes was a bitch. Bitch character. I'm sorry, it's just, I had to say it. That's pretty much what she was. But in these last few episodes, she's been growing into I would say into the real Cheryl Blossom, in my opinion. Again, like I said, I don't know from the Archie comic. I don't know what she was then or what she's supposed to be. So again, that's where I'm coming from in my way of thinking. Just to let you know, from Jump Street. But she's coming into kind of what her real self is. That type of character, the itchy itch type of character or type of person, of her family, her relationships and relationship there, and with her brother and his death and how that affected her and this and that. So she just, it's like a defense mechanism in a way, instead of showing your soft side, you mask it with something else. Not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying that, but it's just, you know what I mean? It's just, that's what's her way. At least that's what I'm right or wrong. It's my opinion there of Cheryl Blossom. But so Cheryl wants to know, and Betty, like me, pretty much is not that good at lying because I'm not. I'm not good at lying. I can't lie to my family. I can't lie even to strangers here on YouTube. Even if I try, you notice my tells. Yeah, that's a bunch of BS, Steve, sort of thing. But Betty can't lie through either as much as she's trying to. With Cheryl knows, but Cheryl's not being what she. See, let's just put it this way: if Cheryl was what she was in episode 1 and 2, here in this episode, in episode 7, she would make sure to find a way right then and this. Right? But she's, again, doing into what I would say the regular Cheryl is, right? And in that light, later on in the episode, or near the end of the episode, when Cheryl and her is big news in itself. But, well, that's obviously big news. And then we find out with the very last scene. Again, like I said, you have to watch every scene, every moment. And again, I apologize. My screen has been freezing and unfreezing and everything during this live viewing, so I do apologize for that. But anyways, then we get to the final scene with Jughead's father being a drunk. I kind of had a bad feeling that something was going to happen to him, like he would, because he's so drunk and inebriated, that he would collapse or something and have to go to the hospital or passes away of something. Like, I thought that was going to be the big thing for this episode into a cliffhanger, which makes sense. Well, every episode is a cliffhanger in its own right because we're trying to pick the pieces and get the pieces of this puzzle to find out who died, who killed Jason Blossom. But anyways, that didn't happen, and the bombshell big thing to find out, the final moment of this episode here in episode 7 is of Jason Blossom's Letterman jacket in Jughead's father's home, at least home for now. Home. So what does this mean? And also, I forgot to talk about Vanessa and her mother and that situation that I'm kind of wheeling and dealing between those two of coming compromise where Vanessa's mom would tell her ex-husband or estranged husband, let's just say, forge their daughter's signature because she is the owner there because of her father being incarcerated, so that her father didn't think that Vanessa, her daughter, was doing something bad or turning her back on her, thinking negative thing. But that was all her idea, her mother's idea. And later in the episode, she's literally right there as her mom makes that call because she wants to make sure it's actually done. So that's big in its own right. And then Vanessa agrees to not party and not do this, not do that, to keep it quiet, but that her mom and Archie's father are dating, are together a bit there. So they both come to a compromise with each other's things there, meeting there and being able to get to that compromise, I think is very important, very interesting, and a good growth, actually, for opinion there as well. So that's pretty much it of I know I kind of bounced around in the episode of the moments. But thank you to everybody that is watching live. We'll be watching archive. Always welcome to check out any of the other videos. Subscribe, share, leave a comment section in the comment section below if you are watching archive. You're gonna greatly appreciate it. You should stop by. Not next week, but March 30th, a couple weeks from now. I'll be coming back. Riverdale Review and Theories, Season 1, Episode 8. Can't wait. That's for sure. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have fun. Stay safe, buddy. Take care.